It's the Big Finish pre-owned sales event. 120 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. $2.5 million in inventory. Starting at $2,995. Down payments as low as $29. And payments starting at just $99 a month. Shop at PremierTroy.com or come see us. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
More Forrest, we've been through a lot this year, from saving Christmas to facing some of our most nefarious foes.
Like the leprechaun.
Like the tax man.
Or the overpricer.
And we defeated them all. So no matter what villain comes for our customers, they'll have to come through us first. We'll keep slashing our prices on new vehicles and beefing up our certified pre-owned selection. All just a click away at MitchellNissan.com. So whatever they need, the More Force is prepared.
More Force!
MitchellNissan.com. More, it's what we do.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Forrest Lee as we start a Tuesday, the fourth day of the new year. And have you already had all your New Year's promises
well, I really hadn't made
overrun?
One. I know what they should be, but I hadn't made really any.
Well, in the past now, you've always had them. When you last year you had that big, where they dumped you or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, the polar bear plunge is coming up Saturday the 29th of January, and I plan on jumping. I did it the first year and had a conflict the second year, but the polar bear plunge will be the 29th day of January at 9 o'clock at the Sportsplex. It's for the Troy Pike Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, exactly right.
Dana Lee and others are, they're highly involved in that, and they want to bring.
Well, let me just say this, Diana. I love you, I love you, I love you, but I'm not going to be dumped. I'm not going to be dumped. So, Danny, go ahead and tell him to please bypass me because, hey, I'm having a hard time getting along like I am.
Yeah, we were out on the beach 2 days ago, 80 degrees down here in Grayton, and this morning it's 34.
I know.
I think I saw where it's 28 in Troy.
Yeah, it is freezing.
Looks like Auburn's lost their lead receiver, Kobe Hudson. He's in the transfer portal. He says he was kicked off the team. Mm-hmm. Doesn't feel like Auburn would kick any good skill player off their team. That's what they have.
Yeah,
he's from LaGrange.
Another player in the transfer portal.
Yeah, the QB. Yeah, but
biggest transfer news yesterday was Caleb Williams, who led Oklahoma to a big bowl win over Oregon. Spencer Rattler already was in the transfer portal, left Oklahoma for South Carolina. Now Caleb Williams, who took his place and everybody raved about, he's in the portal. So who knows where he's going to go?
Yeah, he says he still may come to Oklahoma, but he's from the Washington, D.C. area. I would not think.
Y'all talking about the quarterback?
The quarterback at Oklahoma, Caleb Williams.
It's got to be who's going to pay the most money, don't you think?
I don't know.
Nowadays they can pay these college kids, and The only reason I would think that he would leave because he's got one of the top jobs in the country, as a quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Right. Well, he's from D.C. He picked Oklahoma over Maryland, LSU, Georgia, Penn State, and Clemson. But they say that Ole Miss may be in the mix. And, of course, Southern Cal, that's where his former head coach went. But he said he may come back to Oklahoma. But getting back to that kid from that Auburn, that Kobe Hudson, he's from Troup County, Georgia, in LaGrange.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's going to prompt Bigsby, the running back. Yeah. He went to Callaway High School. Uh-huh. But I guess they're both from that Troup County area. I don't know.
They all played in that spring game, that Troy had that time. I don't know if you noticed it or not. That all those that team out of LaGrange was one of the best in the country at that time, and I agreed with them after they left too. They were really good.
But going back to Oklahoma, they landed University of Central Florida transfer quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who he entered the transfer portal. He's from Hawaii, and
he went to USC.
And he originally committed to Southern Cal, then he flipped to the Sooners on Monday. So they do have a quarterback coming in. Oklahoma does, but the one team that I'm, not concerned about, but Clemson is not very highly ranked in the recruiting. Standings right now. Yeah. But, and they're losing coaches, so it's going to be a different kind of year for Clemson, but I think they'll land on their feet. But this transfer stuff is fixing to get out of hand again.
Well, I tell you, it really is.
John Summerall needs to get on it now. I mean, he coached Kentucky in the bowl game and, of course, had an emotional conversation about his player making a game-winning interception, but they've got to get players immediately to Troy because this is the time to do it. Seems like everybody's transferring.
It sure is. Troy have 6 commitments already, and hopefully they can hold on to them.
Well, I heard on Paul Feinbaum.
But in normal situations, they'd have about 20 commitments.
Yeah, I know.
They're basically all the rest looks like they're going to be transfer guys and junior college guys, I guess.
Well, on Paul Feinbaum yesterday, there was a caller calling somewhere, and he said out in the Pac West, those schools, in the California area, they only got like 6 to 10 commitments each school.
It's crazy.
And, they're waiting on that transfer stuff to see who all's going to jump in the board and then go after those 20-year-olds as opposed to the high school
I wouldn't doubt if Auburn didn't have a lot of kids jumping to play with their ex-teammate, Mike. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's possible.
I would think, wouldn't you think that Bo was a real popular player? That a lot of his teammates would love to play for him or with him.
I don't know if a lot of them want to go all the way out to Oregon. Going to another country
and play, and then have to wear one of those crazy uniforms. Oh, ladies and gentlemen,
he's doing his parents no favor. I can't imagine how many games he'll be able to catch.
I know you're right.
A head coaching job out in Oregon somewhere. He's claiming he's staying at Central Phoenix City.
Yeah. Well, that guy out there is so filthy rich. He can do anything for him. I'm sure Bo's already met with the gurus out there of the. What do you say?
Well, they're going to open up next year against the Georgia Bulldogs in Atlanta.
Oh, that's going to
be Oregon flies to Atlanta.
Oh, that's something. Of course, we're talking about the owner of
Phil Knight.
Yeah, I know, and he owns Nike. They can do anything they want to out there. So I'm sure he'll make it very comfortable for Bo, don't you think?
Who knows? Who knows?
What do you think, Nike?
How about the great Najee Harris last night going off for 188 yards? Pittsburgh beat the Browns. Najee Harris has now got over 1,000 yards rushing his rookie year.
Did you know on the last play of the game they were killing the ball? How many times have you seen this? They were just killing the ball, and nobody was watching what was happening. And Najee moves up, takes one step to the right, and runs about 50 yards for a touchdown.
He broke Franco Harris's rookie rushing record. He's at 1,172 yards now. And I saw where Jason Waddle's at 99, so he's still 2 or 3 passes away from breaking the
rookie
reception
Yeah,
record.
the only problem with that is it's going to be for 17 games now. You know, they played an extra game in the NFL this year. I don't know if people realize that. They usually only play 16 games.
Yeah.
This year they're playing 17 games. So Najee Harris's record will stand because of the 16-game schedule. Najee Harris also had 70 catches this year for almost 500 yards.
That is
phenomenal rookie season.
He really did. And, you know, by being able to catch the football, that makes you, as a pro receiver and running back, that's what they want, you know.
You know, that Ben Roethlisberger, that was, they think, maybe his final game at Heinz Field.
It looks like it.
And
of
but
course,
they still have a chance to make the playoffs.
I love Ben, but boy, Ben is not very good now. He threw, I think I want to say he threw the ball 44 times, I think, for less than 100 yards.
About 123. Yeah.
And but without Najee, he would have been in trouble last night. But let me tell you this: the quarterback, Mike, for the
Browns.
Yeah, the Browns quarterback is terrible. He is terrible.
Yeah.
They have lost money on this guy.
He's thrown, I was reading today, 55 interceptions in his career already.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something else. He's thrown a record number of blocked passes. Last night, I think Pittsburgh blocked at least 5 or 6 passes that he threw. He couldn't get the ball over the line of scrimmage. This guy is terrible. This quarterback.
Yeah, that's something Alabama did against Cincinnati that you really hadn't seen much all year. They blocked a lot of Cincinnati passes, and that guy's about 6'2", 6'4".
Yeah.
That made no sense. Yeah, Stetson Bennett, he's probably 5'10", 5'11". They blocked a lot of his passes in the first game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again.
Well, coffee. Making some coffee.
I made coffee.
Forrest Lee took a crack at it and didn't do very well this morning.
Anyway, I hit the 12 putt.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will promise you this, and I know my buddies that are watching this morning, it's not easy to do for me to do anything, especially in the morning, without a good hot cup of coffee, but one that's a little bit stronger than this.
Okay.
I feel like I'm drinking water.
Well, Michael, I read a report.
I used to ride with Dad when I was a little kid sometimes, and the guy at McDonald's, I don't know who the guy was that was the manager there for so many years, but literally he would just have the coffee in his hand out the window. Dad would be grabbing it all the time. How many times you used to do that, Dad, every morning?
Oh, yeah, that's how every morning. It was nice to have, over the years, me and the McDonald's guy were pretty close, over the years.
Welcome to McDonald's, man.
You're going to Montgomery, I guess, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Michael, I got to I want to talk to you about something. Ladies and gentlemen, I've grown a beard for the first time in my life. We're probably going on close to 2 weeks now. And at first, it sort of aggravated me. I didn't, started with stinging and everything. But now it's fairly comfortable. And I'm starting to like it a little bit, so I'm going to see how it goes for a while. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to shave, no question about it.
Book your Santa Claus next year, Mike.
Well, I want to see what color it's going to be. I want to see if it's going to be a white beard or a gray beard or a red beard or what, Okay. But
yeah, I've had a beard for about 25 years. I can't imagine life without a beard.
What do you like about it? Not having to shave or what?
Yeah, I like just having to shave my cheeks and neck. That's all I have to do.
Do you still shave your neck?
Oh yeah, I shave my neck. Yeah.
See, I probably need to know what type of thing of designs I need. I watch these guys on TV; they look pretty good,
Yeah, my wife loves the beard. Thank God.
Does she really? That means I've always said that if you've got a beard, what you're trying to do is cover up your face. But
I have always had one. So I trim it and try to keep it a little bit.
So you probably spend more time. You probably spend more time than you would if you had a regular beard, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, seeing some of these beards today, the hangover guys that go to their almost belly buttons and chest. Some of these guys have beards that are out of control now. I try to keep mine somewhat.
Michael, how many times does the boss have to go make the coffee, and the boss right now is making the coffee, Steve Camp. who runs this place, and we love that guy. We love Steve Camp. He does so many things for us, including the coffee every morning. Wiley Sanders truck lines.
Troy's going to be honoring the basketball team that scored 258 here in a couple of weeks. Don't you think for that game they should do the airplane contest just one night?
I wish they would, and I think they need to know that. That's as far as you're familiar with what we're talking about. The kids would come and they would hand them out sheets of paper where they could make a paper airplane.
Yeah.
And then they would throw it out in the middle. The closest to the middle would win a prize.
You know, Gary Stogner, I worked with him one year in the sports information office when I was a freshman at Troy University. And he was talking about this contest, and there was one particular game somebody rode a brand new car out there in mid-court, and you had a certain area you had to go way up in the stadium in the bleachers to throw your paper airplane. And if your plane landed in the car, you won the car.
Yeah. Oh boy!
Well, this one particular person, had the windows down. Yeah. You could throw from both sides of the arena, and this person, his airplane flew in the car. And went out the other side.
Oh, gosh.
Now, whether or not that's true, that's what Gary told me.
You've seen some guys that were really good. Some of your friends really knew how to make an airplane. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. We used to throw them from the top of the bleachers in Sartain Hall. And
that's pretty high up.
A few of them went on the court in the middle of the game.
Oh, did they? Yeah. But they were real good at making them. And it was a fun thing. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They had to have somebody to bring them to the game. So not only did they come to the game, their parents came to the game and started enjoying it. And boy, it was a fun times during the Masonry era Showtime and riding having the little girl.
Was that Barnett?
Barnett girl, this cute as she could be, the unicycle. I reckon that's what you would call it.
Right.
And she would come out, and they'd come out twirling the ball and all that. And it was really quite an event, every Troy basketball game. And they do a great job now.
I don't know where Masonry found Red. Red was I mean, he got everybody to spin the ball and do all the tricks.
And Red will be here on that day. It's the weekend of the 14th and 15th, and I've got a group coming in from the Archer group, so they're going to come and.
Are we playing DeVry again?
No, we're not playing DeVry, but it's a conference game, and it's the weekend where they play. The girls play at 2 and the boys play at 4.
Right. I had Tim Faison on the show last night.
Oh, and, did you? Okay.
And he scored I think 14 points in that game.
Yeah.
And had him and Bobby Brown came later.
Yeah.
They're both.
That's right. The basketball coaches. Yeah.
In that Steeler game last night, there was also another record set. Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was his 15th consecutive non-losing season, which set an NFL record.
Pretty good, you're right.
And he's led them to a Super Bowl, so they play the Ravens, and they win.
Right.
But, Mike, another report I read this morning, LSU will have only 39 scholarship players tonight when they play. 20 on offense, 19 on defense. Of course, they'll have some more players there.
They're going to have a bunch of walk-ons.
39 scholarship players.
Isn't that amazing? That program, a lot of people
think... that line is skyrocketing. Went from LSU being a 2.5-point favorite to now Kansas State -7. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I had a feeling Kansas State would probably beat them anyway, but I hate it for LSU because it's the SEC team, and they were a bunch of guys, and they're going to just have to. They've hired the guy to do it, but he's going to have a total revamping. You're talking about he'll probably take full advantage of the portal. Now, one thing I want to ask you, is there a limit to how many portal guys you can have? That's what I wonder.
No.
All right, so if he had 35 scholarships left, I mean, he could get that many new players.
I mean, South Alabama's coach last year got 18.
Yeah, I'm talking about maybe even more than that. But you would think that he's got players already
Well, they'll play in Houston against Kansas State. And go ahead.
Here's your bowl standings right now. The American Conference, other than Cincinnati getting beat by Alabama, went 3-1. ACC had a poor conference record, 2-4. Big 12 has played well. They're 4-2. Big 10, 6-4. Conference USA 3-5. The Independents were 2-2. The MAC was 3-5. Mountain West was phenomenal, 5-1. How about this? The Pac-12 0-5 in the bowl games.
Oh yeah.
SEC 5-6. Probably will lose. LSU will probably lose tonight. Go to 5-7. I don't know how that works in the national championship game because one's going to win and one's going to lose.
6-8.
So I don't know how that will work. And then the Sun Belt finished 3-1, which is very respectable. The Sun Belt only got 4 teams in bowls because it had 5 bowl spots, but they didn't have enough teams filled.
Isn't that a shame? You know, that is a pure shame, and you know, they'll lose that commitment if they don't start watching what they're doing. You know, they've got tie-ins. How many tie-ins do they have? 5?
5, yeah.
That bowl games, and you know, it's important to fill those slots. And I'll tell you somebody though. We laughed a little bit about Rutgers, but buddy, they're going to be a team to watch in the future though. They play hard. I mean, for that coach Mike, and you know, Rutgers going to be good on down the line.
They won't make it to the.
I think you look at the Big 12. Texas Tech blew out Mississippi State, and Baylor, you know, beat Ole Miss. Of course, Ole Miss lost Corral. I wouldn't think the Big 12 would beat up on the SEC like that.
Yeah.
Mississippi State was a joke in that bowl game. My God. I mean, they were.
Oh yeah, they were. They sure were. No question about it. And it surprised me how they acted and everything. You know, I didn't realize it. Mike, he's an old man. At least he carries himself like an old man.
Mike Leach?
Yeah, he's an old man. Okay. Bill Rice is coming.
He's probably got to be in his 60s, I think, Mike Leach is.
Yeah. He just don't look real peppy, does he? He doesn't look like he's a guy that can rah-rah anybody, do you?
He might want to go back to the pack.
You're right. I don't think Mississippi State's in that good of hands. I really don't. Right now, taking a look at
Mike Leach is 60 years old.
Yeah.
Born in Susanville, California.
But see, he got his start like so many of them did at Valdosta State, didn't he, Mike?
Cal Poly.
He was a Mummy guy.
Yeah, he's a Mummy guy. You know, everybody thinks about Mummy, and what's the first thing you think about thinking of Mummy?
Kentucky?
White towel.
No, white towel. He wore a white towel around his neck all the time, you know. And you know, you look back though.
Yeah, it was Mummy, Leach, and Tony Franklin. They were the Kentucky guys.
Yeah.
They kind of ran that offense.
Yeah. And our guy that we just hired, Mike, for our offensive coordinator, had a lot of Mummy time. I mean, a lot of.
He played 4 years for Tony Franklin and Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah,
Joe
that's right. And let me tell you, Coach, if you're watching our show, we think a lot of we think a lot of the ex Mummy coach, Mike.
Let me tell you about
Tony Franklin.
Yeah, here's Leach. In 1986, Leach earned his Juris Doctor from Pepperdine University School of Law in Malibu, California. He also is one of the most prominent graduates of the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, from which he earned a Master of Sports Science degree in coaching in 1988. So he's been in Alabama, in Mobile, in Daphne. He got his degree there.
But also there's a guy.
That's in college down there?
Yeah, it says he's one of the most prominent graduates of the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, from which he earned a Master of Sports Science in Sports Coaching in 1988.
Wow.
Here comes the good coffee.
Only in America, can the CEO of this company right here makes the coffee.
Mike Leach is also
Thank
one
you.
of 8 former Division I head coaches that never played college football.
Yeah.
Another story about Leach.
Well, tell us.
Play rugby.
Yeah, tell us about another guy that comes in and was right in the middle of it, Mike, but he never made it to college coaching.
That was what on the South where Kentucky.
Well, no. Well, he came in and he coached down at Valdosta and a few other places.
Oh, Hatcher.
Yeah, not Hatcher, but Hatcher was a part of those guys. They still talk with.
On his staff, when Mummy was there, his defensive coordinator for Hatcher. When Hatcher was head coach of Valdosta State, his defensive coordinator was Will Muschamp, and his secondary coach was Kirby Smart.
Isn't that amazing? And but I'm talking about the high school coach that stays in trouble all the time.
Oh, Prost.
Oh, Prost.
Prost. Where does Prost fit in? Because Prost was right. He was buddied with all of them, Mike. He was a Valdosta guy.
He's always been in high school football, though.
Yeah, I know it, but
I don't know if he ever coached college.
Yeah, I know it, and I've always wondered why, because he's a pretty good coach.
And the Hoover coach is going to where? Gainesville, Georgia. Head coach at Gainesville.
Yeah.
Somewhere up there.
That's where the college for girls called Brunel. You ever heard of Brunel? I sent my daughter to Brunel. and when old Rice tells people, he said his daughter's to Brunel.
Yeah. Well, Hoover does still not have. They don't have a head coach yet. Hoover does not. Yeah. And of course, Pike County should be any day they name a head football coach.
Yeah, and let me tell you this. They had a heck of a coach. He was a great coach. Didn't you believe that, Mike?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Coach Hollins was a, disciplinarian and ran the show, and I think the guys, that played for him played hard. He just didn't have the numbers. And then, of course, he lost a lot of his players the past couple of years to transferred, and Joey Dennison was a great coach on that staff for years as well.
Yeah, sure was, no question about it.
Joey's still there.
Yeah.
He teaches at Banks Middle School. And
is that where he teaches?
Yeah, he's at Banks. He's a history teacher. He was teacher. Yeah. He was highlighted as one of the WSFA Teacher Apple Awards.
Well, Bill Rice is in a. What, Mike?
I'm interested in Charles Nixon's basketball. Did you talk to Coach Bateson about his scheduling this year?
Yeah,
I'm very impressed of all the teams they played.
Yeah, he mentioned that he wanted to. He couldn't get hardly anybody to schedule. Nobody wanted to play him, and so he started loading his schedule what he called top heavy, and he thought that would help him down the road. And he's got a bevy of seniors. I think he has 300 classmen. And the thing I'm impressed with, 3 of his players came on the show last night. They were dressed. They had a bow tie on, white shirts. They had the same coat on or pullover. They all had the same color pants, just polite. Yeah. And, Tim is his demeanor is so neat. And he's played for so many coaches, junior college, Maestri, Felix, and he's coached with Carl Hollis and a bevy of other coaches. And he said, I've learned from them, and hopefully a little bit of them has rubbed off on me, and he wants them to be good students. And
well, right now
they're 12-4. They play Luverne Thursday night.
With that kind of schedule, they're 12-4. But tell us a little bit. Was the kid the big tall kid?
He was here.
He was here, and then the other kid was. The guard that's so good, his name was...
I don't have that roster right here in front of me, but now here's some teams that they played.
Knox is the big guy.
Yeah, Tay Knox.
College interest? Is anybody...
he said there's a few Knox coming, is what...
is he a senior?
He's a senior. Here's the people they played. They lost to Parks Crossing, Pinson Valley. They defeated Clay Chalkville Mountain. They lost by 3 to Mountain Brook. They beat Spanish Fort. They beat Lovejoy out of Georgia. Lee of Montgomery, Dothan, Smith Station. Eufaula is ranked like the #1 team in the state of Alabama. They lost to them by about 9. They defeated Carver of Montgomery and Lanier. And after they play Luverne this Thursday in Luverne, they'll start about 4:30 with the JV boys team. Then the girls, and the girls are in the top
play that
10
game at Luverne.
in Luverne. And then next week, they have two games away, two area games, one against Greenville on Tuesday, and then Friday at Andalusia. Then they'll play next Monday week against Vestavia Hills.
Oh boy!
And
will they go up there or what?
They'll go up there, and then they've got a big tournament coming up, a coaches tournament and an invitational in Atala later on in January. So
boy,
it's been a top-heavy schedule, and he's 12-4.
That is crazy. I've never in my life heard of Charles Henderson.
No, I haven't either. And I tell you what, Coach, I hope you're listening. It would tickle me, because I think this is how you build a program. Play teams that you're out of conference schedule. Play it tough.
Well,
I can't handle high school basketball without a shot clock, though. That's the only thing that bothers me.
You're right.
Well, here's was what he said. We want to play up tempo. Now here's some of their scores. I mean, they've scored 64, 57, 54, 81, 67. 84, 86, 76, 76, 77, 90. 94, 76, 92. So he wants to play an up-paced game.
Do they press them and everything?
I think so. He wants to rock and roll, and he said, I want to be very fast-paced, oriented, and he plays a lot of those players. He
knows all about it. He played
fresh.
on the team that scored 258 points for Troy University, and they're going to recognize them again. I don't know if this is the 50th year or not. Let's see. It wouldn't be the 50th. It would be what would it be? 30th probably. But they're coming back, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that. I hope somebody's got the film of that, and they could show it.
Yeah. Then I had Big Matt Brown come on, and Matt played under Carl Hollis and Tim facing, and they're 13-1, and they play tonight against the team out of Dothan. It's called.
Do they play in here?
They play in Troy tonight. They'll tip off about 4:00. It's called. They are the Wiregrass Kings.
Turn that around a minute. I want people to see this. Look at this logo. I don't know who came up with it, but it's a good-looking logo. For some reason, we can't come up close, but that's the logo. Good-looking logo.
They're 13-1.
Dad, do you want to hear the box score for the 258 game?
Yeah, do real quick.
DeAndre Evans scored 29 points in 19 minutes. Jack Smith.
Wait a minute. I don't even remember DeAndre Evans.
Oh yeah, he was a big tall guard. He was really good. He started for several years at Troy. Jack Smith in 21 minutes scored 29 points. The story of the game was Andy Davis. He played 19 minutes. He had 2 points, 8 assists, 12 rebounds, and 6 steals.
Yeah, he wasn't a scorer. He wasn't a great scorer anyway.
He was a great Andy Davis. He was the best player on the team. He was the captain, the leader. Everybody loved Andy Davis. Tommy Davis, great guard.
Yeah.
Played 15 minutes, scored 24 points, 8 rebounds. Terry McCord was the best player on the team, but I guess Andy Davis was the leader of the team. McCord had 41, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. He was 9 for 14 from three-point line.
Oh, boy.
Steve Hunt out of Kentucky played 11 minutes. He scored 15. Tim Faison out of Charles Henderson played 18 minutes, had 12 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. You remember this guy? This is the big guy that a lot of people don't ever talk about. It was a great player. It's Chris Gresham. Played 22 minutes, had 20 points and 15 rebounds and 5 assists. Fred Bryant, he's a guy that played forward, could jump out of the gym, played 16 minutes, scored 20 points. This is a big tall forward Troy had named Paul Bryan. He scored 29 points in 19 minutes.
Golly.
And then one of the greatest shooters of all time in Troy, Brian Simpson out of Kentucky. Listen to this stat line, Dad. Brian Simpson played 15 minutes. All he did was go 11 of 26 from the three-point line. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. In 15 minutes, he scored 37 points.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
You couldn't do that at practice.
And when he comes to to Troy. It's going to be great to see those guys.
I'd hate to have been the scorekeeper. You probably went through about 10 pages.
Well, the first half, Troy scored 130 points, so that'll tell you a little bit right there. They ran out of room in the first half. But Troy
made 51 3-pointers. They were 51 out of 109 from three-point line.
And, that was phenomenal. You know, anybody that doubts this happened, all they got to do is say they made 51 3-pointers. That'll tell you a lot. We're going to be back with Bill Rice coming into the show after this.
We're still on.
It's the Big Finish pre-owned sales event. 120 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. 2.5 million in inventory. Starting at $2,995. Down payments as low as $29. And payments starting at just $99 a month. Shop at PremierTroy.com or come see us. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
More Force, we've been through a lot this year, from saving Christmas to facing some of our most nefarious foes.
Like the leprechaun, like the tax man.
Or the overpricing.
And we defeated them all. So no matter what villain comes for our customers, they'll have to come through us first. We'll keep slashing our prices on new vehicles and beefing up our certified pre-owned selection. All just a click away at MitchellNissan.com. So whatever they need, the More Force is prepared.
More Force!
MitchellNissan.com. More, it's what we do.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
It's the Big Finish event going on now at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Save up to $10,000 on new Ram 1500 or new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Save up to $10,000 during the Big Finish event at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Back to our show, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. And Jason says he's selling them like he's never sold them before because of a great price on every vehicle. And they've got a great sale going on as we speak at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram truck. Good morning to you, Wiley, and good morning to you, Rice Jr. How you doing?
Good. I woke up at 6:52. I told you I was going to be a little late, but I had an adventure on the way in. Y'all got a few minutes?
Yeah.
Got a speed ticket.
Well, I almost had an accident.
Almost. Thank goodness.
You know, it was my windshield was iced
Mine
up.
was the same way now. I was doing this. Listen now. I was looking at my windshield just like that.
Well, I cleaned off a little where I could see a little hole.
Yeah.
And then I go on down Murphy, turn on 231, and I get on Montgomery, Madison Street.
Yeah, that was scary.
And the sun hits that ice and dew, and I was just starting down Montgomery Street, and it was completely blind. I was completely blind.
The morning sun will do it to you.
I could not see anything. I said, oh, my gosh. There was somebody behind me. I said, I got to get off the road.
Yeah.
So I turned right across from where the bus depot is, where the county school bus place is. There's a little old vacant business over there. And I'm trying to turn off the road, and I stopped about a foot from a telephone pole.
Oh, gosh.
I did not budge
and
my
you know
car
what? A sheriff deputy was sitting in that lot watching me.
Oh, gosh.
And so I just sat there and caught my breath, and eventually
we
turned
talk
on,
about it all the time.
Got my windshield clean, and that sun wasn't directly in me. But that's one reason I'm late.
Let me tell you this. Troy's got the worst morning sun, and then they've got the worst afternoon sun. The afternoon sun can blind you the same way if it's just your timing But let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating, right? I'm not exaggerating. I was watching. I was going down a road like this. Yeah. I could just see a little crack.
I ran some defrost, and then I got me a little bit of water and hit my windows. And I was
all right, now what do you do? Tell me. Somebody call.
Y'all don't own a scraper? I lived in Birmingham for 17 years. I had a scraper in my car.
Yeah,
but some of it's that, but also some of it is just like condensation, and it's more than just the frost. And my windshield of my car is an old car. I think other more modern cars wouldn't have this issue.
Well, I have a brand new vehicle. It's supposed to be the best in the country and everything, and I love it. But I didn't. I was trapped in the ice this morning. What should you do?
Well, I run my defroster and let it defrost a little bit. Then I was sitting in the truck. I said, "This is not working," so I went and got me a bucket of water and splashed it.
Yeah, I've done. But then it freezes right back over, doesn't it?
Not this morning. It didn't.
It didn't.
No.
Well, I tell you what, it was the first ice we've seen this year, and it was a lot of it. And the rice, I know exactly where you're going from, man.
Well, today, January the 4th, is National Spaghetti Day.
One of my favorite things to eat is spaghetti.
And
I love spaghetti.
Trivia Day, and I got 3 sports trivia questions for the 3 of you, for Michael, Mike, and Bill. Yeah. The first one is, what do you call it when a bowler makes 3 strikes in a row? What's that term?
Trifecta?
Turkey.
Turkey. I heard Steve say it first. Well, Steve's
turkey. I never heard of that.
Yeah, you throw.
Steve must have said it real fast because I said it right away.
Yeah. Well, but you didn't hear Steve say it. But it's a turkey. It's a turkey. The next trivia question is. I better be quick on this one. What National Football League team has their logo located only on one side of their helmet?
Steelers.
That is correct. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, that's good, Dad. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Only on one side, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And the last question is, who was the first baseball player to appear on a Wheaties box?
Ted Williams.
Wrong.
Sam Musial.
Wrong.
Willie Mays. Willie Mays.
No.
Mickey Mantle.
It must have been later, so I'm going to go somebody later.
Nope.
No.
Hank Aaron.
Babe Ruth.
Close.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig. First baseball player on a Wheaties box.
Man, Wheaties has been around that long?
Let me tell you. That's what it is. I will say this, and I'm bragging, but from the early mid 50s to the mid 60s, I'm about as good as anybody in the country.
One more.
On Major League Baseball, because I was a little kid that I looked at those cards and read that newspaper every morning.
I read this article. Who is the first national basketball player, NBA player, to shatter a backboard?
Dawkins.
Nope.
Thunder. Gerald Dawkins.
You got to go way back.
No.
He played pro.
Lucille.
Nope. He played for. It was not a dunk. The basket was not installed. The glass was not installed properly. He shot a ball about 40 or 50 feet away. He played pro. He played for the Boston Celtics. He played baseball a little bit for the Chicago Cubs. He was a movie actor.
Oh wow!
I'm
He's
having trouble.
6'6".
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Mix. No.
No.
I've heard of this player though that did all those things. Who is it?
Well, the rifleman.
Oh yeah, Chuck Connors.
Chuck Connors. I read that in the trivia. Then I looked it up. I looked it up under his Wikipedia.
He played for the Celtics.
He played for the Celtics.
The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
Short period of time.
Yeah.
Then he couldn't make it, and then he went to out west.
I love this trivia, and I'm gonna play a little game with him this morning. What did this boy call him? What did his boy call him?
Pa?
The rifleman.
What did you say?
Pa?
Paul. Yeah, Paul.
Pa? Mark.
Oh man.
That's what.
You don't hear.
Little House on the Prairie.
Do you have any friends calling their dad Paul?
Branded, marked with a coward shame.
That's right.
Michael Landon on Little House on the Prairie was called Paul. Now y'all tell me if this is true. My father-in-law and other people tell me that they've seen documentaries that say Michael Landon was not really that nice a guy in real life.
I've heard, he was a great track star in college. He threw the javelin. He was a world-class javelin thrower. Did you know that?
Michael
he went to Southern Cal. That's right. Little Michael was a world-class javelin thrower.
That goes on Bonanza?
Yeah.
And then, well, I don't know. But
I remember him from Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven.
Yeah. But
so he had 3 hit TV shows. There's not many actors that have been on 3 hit TV shows.
I'll say
that's
this.
A good trivia question. Yeah. Name an actor that has been on at least 3 hit TV shows.
He's been on them.
Eugene Maurice Horowitz, born on October the 31st, 1936, in Forest Hill, Queens, New York. He was 54 when he died.
Michael Landon?
Michael Landon.
But where did he go to college? Went out west, didn't he? I want to say that he went out west to college.
Let's see.
That's how he got into movies.
Yeah, we're talking about trivia. One of my great Christmas presents was the autobiography of Alex Trebek.
I love him. Yeah. Have you read it already?
Oh, yeah.
How good was it?
It's very good. He doesn't really... He just tells short little vignettes. He doesn't really try to get in depth on his whole life, but he's from Canada. He was going to go to a military academy, and he didn't like that, and then he went to work for the Canadian broadcasting system and became kind of a minor celebrity and TV host in Canada, and then he made the jump to America, and he just was the host of all these game shows. There's a lot more than Jeopardy.
And he wore clothes. He was an excellent dresser and everything. He had a lot of class.
Here's how he got to host Jeopardy. There was the original, Merv Griffin owns the Jeopardy show,
right,
you know. He also owned the Wheel of Fortune, which was his real big money maker. And one day, the original host, not Sajak, but it was somebody else before Sajak, Worley, I think, Pat Worley. No, that's not right. Anyway, he couldn't host the show, and they needed a sub-host for a week or two, and Alex Trebek said, yeah, I'll fill in, no problem. It was real nice, and he made a great impression.
Yeah.
And then skip forward a couple years, and Merv Griffin and his partner decide we're going to do a reboot of Jeopardy, because Jeopardy was on when you were growing up.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And so then they remembered that Alex Trebek had made an impression, and they called and said, would you be interested in hosting this? We're going to start Jeopardy up again. And the rest is history. It wasn't an immediate hit.
Michael Landon he had the best javelin throw in high school, got a scholarship at Southern Cal, tore his shoulder up throwing it, and then he was a gas station attendant across from the studios, and someone from Warner Brothers, he was running gas, or was working at a gas station. And then somebody noticed him and recommended that he change his last name, so he looked in the phone book, picked out the name Landon, and there we go.
And of course,
So some hotshot talent scout happens to get gas at the Gulf Station in California.
Married 3 times.
If you read about it, that's pretty much what it always was.
Well,
but that's did you know?
I think he was buddies with Johnny Carson. He was on the Johnny Carson
show. I've heard different things about him. That he loses his temper and all that and everything. But you watch that movie. Those movies that really had a lot of sensitivity about him. He was perfect in those roles.
He was good on Little House on the Prairie.
He was excellent, and Little House on the Prairie was a great American icon. I mean, it was a great.
It got so macabre in its later years. There was so much tragedy in the family, but the first 4 or 5 years were outstanding.
Think how clean. You never heard any vulgar, anything that was vulgar about it. The same way when he was with the
Highway to Heaven.
No, the
Bonanza.
The Bonanza. Don't forget it. You can talk about all of them, but he learned. Little Joe got his greatness
Little Joe.
through
that show ran forever.
Yes, sir.
And
it's still a good movie to watch. I watched Gunsmoke as much as I can, and I watch other movies like that.
I think Gunsmoke was one of the longest running TV series of all time.
No, Gunsmoke has got to be the longest.
I mean, now The Simpsons, if you count, but it's an animated show.
Well, check out.
You could count 60 Minutes, but that's a news show. But as far as just a regular TV show with actors, I still think it's Gunsmoke.
Rise. I said Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Did you say Gunsmoke?
Yeah, but I'm qualifying with the other candidates
how
in that category.
How many movies? How many Gunsmoke movies? Of course, everybody's watching the reruns and everything. I wonder how they get paid on these reruns.
Well, how many years do you think Gunsmoke ran?
Gosh,
it's about 20, about 18.
Yeah. A lot of them will surprise you. Like the Honeymooners. I love the Honeymooners, but there really weren't that many.
Yeah, it didn't run that long.
Yeah, and some of them did that way.
Now there's a movie out about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. My wife watched it. I couldn't stay up and watch it. You can stream it now. You don't have to go to the movie theaters. That's another change we need to talk about, Mike. When movies come out, you can buy them and watch them on your TV immediately at the same time that they're at the movie theater.
Yeah.
And some people thinking that the movie theater might be almost obsolete, or what do you think, Forrest?
Well, probably. And another thing,
where do you have to take your girlfriend on a date, man?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They got to have somewhere.
I think they ought to go to the lady's home and sit on the couch watching TV. And Mom and Dad can be in the back.
Yeah, and I tell you about growing up. Growing up, let me tell you this: the kids were out playing in the streets, and the Mom and Daddy were sitting on the front porch with the next door neighbors just chatting. But everybody knew back in the old days who their next door neighbor was, and who they knew up and down the street. They would all gather,
I lived in Pike Road for 7 years, and I'm ashamed to say this. My next door neighbor to the right, I never knew her name. She was a single mom, and I waved to her a couple of times, but so sad.
Well, I guess in our day we would go to one of the pizza houses, Pasquale's or the Pizza Hut.
Oh gosh, we didn't even know what a pizza was when I was growing up.
Pasquale's, that's
no, you know what?
Mr. Crow started that.
Nick is giving me a hard time, but we didn't know what a pizza was. Nick up north in Yankeetown. They knew what a pizza was and knew what spaghetti was and knew what red wine. There was always a big old bottle of red wine on everybody's table. You ever notice that about the Italians?
From watching the Godfather movies, I do.
That was probably the greatest movie of my life. I saw my favorite one with Clint Eastwood this weekend.
Outlaw Josie Wells. I thought.
Yeah, Outlaw Josie Wells. That was one of my favorites. And then the one with, of course, we can go on and on, but but Godfather has to be one of the best ever.
Yeah. The critics' consensus, it used to be Casablanca, or the movie about the media tycoon that Orson Welles did. But I think the consensus now is The Godfather is the greatest movie of all time, and they the critics group in Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 is just.
But I tell you what, though, it would have a hard time beating out on some of the all-time great movies.
Another lost art that you talk about the movies, but when you go to a bowling alley, the ability for someone to learn how to keep score. Because they're doing it electronically.
Yeah.
And my dad taught me how to keep score.
Yeah, sure.
Doing the real math. Because there was back then there was no way
There's a trick to it. I could do it. I was proud of
myself. And ladies and gentlemen, 16 new bowling alleys are coming to Troy, Alabama. We're getting a bowling alley. We're getting a movie theater that's going to be hooked in there too, I've heard. And also a restaurant, a nice restaurant. And
well, hallelujah on the movie thing. Is it just going to have one screen or two?
Well, I mean, it's not a done deal, but if they do it like my friend did it in Tuscaloosa, which I think they would do it similar to him, he has a theater in his.
Well, I think if they would get a church league, a business league, collegiate league. High school bowling is one of the largest growing sports there is. So now you have access, Charles Henderson, all these public schools can have a bowling team and compete for the state championship.
They give scholarships.
That would be fun.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, that's when they won their first national
Well,
championship.
this guy, they say it's already a success in Auburn, and it's the same deal.
It's been test marketed in Auburn.
And, of course, Mike, you didn't do any much bowling, did you, when you were growing up?
No, we spent all our time at the Adams Center bowling all the time. That was the highlights of growing up in Troy when I was growing up. I loved it.
That shows you our age difference, because that bowling alley didn't come until later.
Our parents would drop us off at the Adams Center. We'd hang out there all night. It was fun.
They would drop us off at
and
the
don't
university
tell us where you went.
Adams Center, but the Adams Center had a game room on the first floor.
Yeah,
table tennis,
and pool, and
they had about 30 couches upstairs.
Yeah, those couches, and then the little TV room upstairs. Then you have the little basketball courts and tennis courts right to the side.
You're probably the reason they don't have a bowling alley there anymore.
Handball courts.
Those handball courts. Yeah.
I feel bad for all those college students that were running it back then, having to run away a bunch of junior high kids all the time.
Now, how many lanes do they have? 6 lanes or 8 lanes?
They had 12.
They had 12?
I never bowled up there.
But why didn't it go over? Was it ever? I guess it was real popular with you. Was it fairly?
Oh God, it was great.
See, they were really also excited because they had an elevator.
Well, did you get pretty good at bowling?
I remember the elevator.
I used to bowl a lot. I mean, I bowled when I lived in Birmingham for years too. I mean, everybody would go bowl every once in a while. I mean, I guess the best I ever bowled was like a 170 or something.
That's good.
The Adams Center was the place to have an event at the Adams Center Ballroom.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the place.
And
I guess they still do, but
it was the place.
It was the place back then.
I'll tell you what. My dad pulled a gut check. He was in the National Guard, and they had drill in Japan, a field training exercise, and so he went to Japan. While he was in Japan, my grandmother died, so he had to come back a few days earlier to go to her funeral. So he flew back from Japan, and he got sick. Then he went to grandmother's funeral, and he got sick, and then he was the keynote speaker at Troy's sesquicentennial event, which you were probably at, in the Adams Center Ballroom, where he talked about the 150 years of Pike County history. That ballroom was packed, man, 600 people, and Dad's giving the speech. And only I know that, well, he just lost his mother. He's just come back from Japan. He's sick as can be. But he sucked it up and spoke for about 45 minutes on the history of Pike County at the Adams Center Ballroom.
And I can remember when he went to Japan, the Guard used to have some good trips. And
they went to Germany a lot.
They look forward to going on those trips, didn't they?
I went to Panama, Honduras, Ecuador. Got a free trip to Saudi Arabia. Went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi a few times. El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss.
Let me tell you another story. Dad's gone, so I can tell this story. He was real close to Dr. Adams. He ghost wrote Dr. Adams' autobiography. That's how close he was. Dr. Adams said, I want to write my memoirs, but I want you to help me write it, Bill. So Dad does the speech, and he's going too long. I mean, he's got so much stuff. He's got 150 years of history, and I've kind of read his draft, and I'm out there in the audience, and, he needs to wrap it up. But there we are in the Adams Center, and he's talking about all the key people in Troy history. Who doesn't he mention? Ralph Adams. The president of Troy University for 25 years in the Adams Center. I realize it just 20 minutes into the speech, Dad, you haven't mentioned Dr. I'm almost thinking, should I walk up there and whisper into his ear? I didn't. And so he gets home, and I say, Dad, you did a great job, but I hate to tell you this, but you forgot to mention Dr. Adams, and man, that just crushed him.
Oh.
It was in his prepared remarks. He just he missed it. So he immediately called Dr. Adams and apologized profusely.
And he probably didn't even know that he missed it.
Well, I think he did.
But he was very unassuming, guy. He things didn't bother him, much. I don't think.
His tennis shoes, his car.
You know, his car was
black glasses.
You know, Chevy too.
He was a retired general in the Air Guard. Or Alabama.
Dad always called him General Adams.
That's right. Yeah, he was a general, and let's just say this: he brought people that were well-known educators across the world to Troy, and no other team, no other school was giving scholarship or I don't know, to these great.
Well, he brought Dr. Carroll, and then he brought a famous director of the School of Education that was real
Rafferty.
That was real controversial in California, right?
All right, now all right. You just mentioned the one that was a Hollywood guy. What's his name, Dr.
John Carroll.
John Carroll. All right, the other one was Rafferty, one of the great and one of the most very frequently quoted educators in the country, Rafferty. And then there was another one. That,
he had the guy that came and did guest lectures that invented the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, Teller lived up there.
I don't think he came and taught at Troy, but he visited Troy often. Dr. Teller.
Hey, he lived in Troy.
He did? Okay.
He moved to Troy. He lived up. I can show you where he lived.
Oh my gosh!
Teller, the guy that built the atom bomb.
Not the atom bomb.
Edward Teller.
Yeah, he built. He made. What did you say? The hydrogen bomb.
The hydrogen bomb came after the atom bomb.
But he was the guy that did it, and he was here on campus, and you just go on, and with the great people he brought to Troy.
Johnny Long might be the most important.
Oh yeah.
And then Coach Atkins.
Yeah. But when it comes to great people, of all the great people, they're two of the greatest people that have ever lived in Troy, Alabama, and I'm gonna tell you who they were. One was Johnny Long, and the other one was the great Jimmy Lunsford. How great Jimmy Lunsford was, and my heart thinks about him all the time.
We lost him we lost a lot of people in 2021.
Sure did, and we lost Johnny Long and Jimmy Lunsford, two of the all-time greats. And I don't have to explain it to anybody. They set their own agenda and did a great job.
Well, he'll leave a legacy for the last.
But Chase Riddle, another great man, who went through the
he
the
came
gates
to
of Troy
to play football.
Yeah, that's right.
And so all these people that come to the college, and then we keep them. That's the key to having a college.
They like the
the most important person in Troy history, though, according to Dad's book, is who? I've told you this, so I'm going to see if you've been paying attention.
What?
You might not remember his name.
Ann Love?
No. What was the most influential event in the history of Troy?
Charles Henderson.
What county?
The railroad?
There you go.
Charles Henderson brought the railroad to town, though,
No, it was a guy named Urban Jones.
Really?
Who was my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. He's kin to me on the Chapman side.
Yeah. Is that where you got where you got that red hair?
No. He went broke doing it, I understand, but he personally got that dang railroad to come through Troy, Alabama, and all the stuff that happened in Troy that has happened would not have happened if we hadn't first had that railroad.
Thank goodness. I don't want you to mention. I don't want you to say anything. Thank goodness, though, they changed the name. Do y'all know what they changed the name from?
Deer Stand Hill.
Deer Stand Hill. Welcome to Deer Stand Hill on the campus of Troy University. Thank goodness they came.
You talked about Charles Henderson and the Henderson family. The Hendersons do not come to Troy, Alabama, if there ain't a railroad that's come to. I mean, they were seeking their fortune, but
they were cotton.
They were not coming to some town that was just in the sticks.
Back then, cotton was king, but the other thing that was king in Troy was what?
Timber.
What?
Timber?
Nope.
Peanuts.
Mules.
Oh.
They sold mules. Troy was a leading mule trader. You notice, you think about it. Every household had to have a mule, or they were in trouble. They couldn't even do the crops. You plowed a mule.
Well, the old barn used to be a mule barn.
Oh yeah.
Restaurant in Goshen.
But it tickled me. course, I was talking.
I want everybody, the kids watching, know how important that railroad come in the because everything was based around. Well, here's in America history.
Okay.
You teach history, don't you?
A little bit.
Where did original cities develop next to?
Railroads or ports?
Railroads and rivers. Railroads and rivers.
So
yeah.
river was the way of transportation.
Yeah, that's right.
Then it became, for 100 years, railroads.
Yeah.
Then it became highways.
That's right.
And Troy also has Highway 231.
All right, where would we love our university, and it's great, and it's been a lot, but we go nowhere without Highway 231.
That was
they
one
went
of the big
from
events.
Montgomery to Dothan.
Who did that? Robert Dunn?
No, it was way before Robert Dunn.
Well, it was whoever made the decision. That's a good question. Who made the decision to put Highway 230?
That's right.
They probably followed the railroad and the key towns.
And there were some upset people. Just think how many people were upset that they were bypassing the city. And of course, I used to sit out on my door. I did this a lot. Me and my brother would sit out there on the front porch, and we would. He would take the Fords, and I'd take the Chevrolets on how many passed by there. But
that was the way you went.
Highway
to
231 is the way you went to Troy. You went all the way.
Right by your house?
Yeah, right by my house. Take a left on Fairview Street and go down to Shorty Renfro's gas station, and that's where 231 met 29. And you could have took your left and gone all the way to Washington D.C. on 29, or you could took a right and gone on 231 South, and that's what they did. And
well, I can tell you, all I know is it took a long time to 4-lane it and bypass Troy.
Yeah.
They didn't do it one time. They did it in phases. And I know that my other grandfather, I've mentioned the Chapmans, well, Dad's dad was Bob Rice, who was a chief engineer at the highway department, and he later became the division, the top boss out there for a year or two. But I have heard talk to Dad, and he said that was like you said, a controversial deal, man, when they bypassed Troy.
Yeah. Mary Chevrolet had to move out to the bypass. They'd been sitting there, and then all these other businesses were going to have to. Ingram's Restaurant was right there on.
And one day they've had plans for decades to bypass the bypass because it's already too congested.
Oh, it is.
I did a big story about this in the Troy Citizen 20 years ago.
I love
and even when then I interviewed smart people, and they said, it's going to need to be done, and it could be done, and there's little routes they have. He said, but it ain't ever going to happen. These people told me it ain't ever going to happen in our lifetimes. And
you would think that they would have listened to. You look at Dothan, Dothan highly, traffic tremendous, right there on 231 South. And it goes around the bypass there in
the circle.
The circle.
Well, look at the example might be Centerville, Alabama. They finally cut out that you have to go through Centerville.
That's right.
Now it took 30 years, but that's probably what they have in mind for Highway 231 and even Troy.
But I doubt now. But you look at the traffic. But you look at it in Ozark. Well, it's spread out. The hotels and everything are spread out more. Troy is so congested. It is really congested.
You totally bypass Elba now too. You don't even go through Elba.
And if I owned a business in Elba, I would be furious.
What about Luverne?
I did drop by and get a milkshake, though. I do that quite a bit in Elba. I try to give. I try to get buy something in Elba because
where do you get a milkshake in Elba?
Oh, at Dairy Queen. And they have that new barbecue place that's supposed to be so good. Have you tried it?
I have not, but they are doing a lot of changing in that area. They're putting in stop signs, all-way stop signs right there at that Dairy Queen intersection.
Yeah.
But in Troy, I wish they would somehow could link behind Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, and all that. They could buy that land and put in a back street back there like they do behind McDonald's.
But they're doing all that. But they're doing all of that though with the new grocery store and so forth.
I know.
that's where it's all going to happen.
Man, that's a huge development.
Well, behind all that, there needs to be an outlet because you cannot hardly get back on 231.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And
or they build a toll bridge.
No, they won't do that.
You know, they're building some. What's that bridge they're building in Tuscaloosa, Michael? You might know that right by the Coliseum. There's a.
I didn't notice that when I was at the Alabama game.
Your dad and I went to the baseball game. They have almost finished a bridge.
Oh, over the railroad track?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's just going over the railroad track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, let's go to the break. It's 8:12. We'll be back with more of Today in L.A., brought to you by Goldfingers. If you try Goldfingers, it's the best. In Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, Troy, Alabama, they can make a big difference in your life.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
For more on this stunning victory, let's head down live to Coach Dr. Hyundai on the field.
Dr. Hyundai, that was a record win. Please tell the folks at home how you did it.
Well, you know, our guys, they go out there and give 110% every day. And you just can't lose with the Mitchell Hyundai Advantage Package. And with Hyundai Owner Assurance, we double America's best warranty to 20 years, 200,000 miles. Now that's the real dream team. Score big with Mitchell Hyundai, Enterprise, Alabama.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
It's Alabama's favorite time of year, the tailgate season event, only at Mitchell Hyundai.
No matter what your home team needs, the doctor has the prescription. Like the new 2022 Hyundai Palisade with third row seating, so no player gets left behind. Plus, we're doubling America's best warranty to 20 years, 200,000 miles. You can't lose with the tailgate season event. Score big with Mitchell Hyundai, Enterprise, Alabama. Are you looking for a change this new year? Well, there's no better place to shop than Mitchell Hyundai in Enterprise, Alabama, or on the web at mitchellhyundai.com. We'll make sure you're prescribed the best vehicle to solve all your problems. Plus, we'll double America's best warranty to 20 years, 200,000 miles.
Well, what about this?
Whoa, maybe not all your problems. For your best selection and value, come see the doctor at Mitchell Hyundai in Enterprise, Alabama, or visit us on the web at mitchellhyundai.com.
But I mean, you can go.
Back to our show, brought to you by Health Actions Physical Therapy, and I've used them, and they're very good, located on Highway 231 South. Health Actions Physical Therapy. They're located, their home offices in Jackson, Alabama, but they have a big store right here in Troy. Of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors, and you've meant so much to us over the years. Mike, I saw you the other day, and as an old proud popper, you made me feel good when I saw how much weight you have lost. How much weight have you lost?
Over 52 pounds.
How have you done it? It's very important for everybody to hear how you have done it.
Well, I mean, I was mentioning during the break, it's something called Noom, Noom. It's an app over your cell phone that my wife started doing, I guess, about 3 months before I did. And she was losing weight, and then I started trying to do it. And basically just logging your meals and, drinking water. You need to drink like 8 glasses of water a day, which is not hard for a lot of people. And then basically, your steps as well. You got to exercise, try to get about 4,000 steps a day. But it's basically logging your meals. It's one of those type things where it's really more just about accountability than anything. So I have about 1,700 calories a day now. Of course, when I started, I was probably in the 2,000s. But it's been the best weight loss thing I've ever tried before.
Well, how do you do it? How do you do it?
You can still eat whatever you want to eat. It's just you got to count your calories, and then it has a thing on your phone where you can scan the items you eat, so you know what you're eating ahead of time. But you can eat anything. Like I'll get a Chick-fil-A today, and I'll order 2 8-piece nuggets. 2 8-piece nuggets from Chick-fil-A are 500 calories.
2 8-piece nuggets. That's 16 nuggets, isn't it?
Yeah. That's 500
That's pretty good eating right there, isn't it?
So that's but that's not bad. That's 1/3 of your calories for the day.
But then you gotta catch up, or barbecue sauce, whatever you dip them in. And then this morning I had overnight oats, which my wife makes a lot, where I cut up strawberries, I put it in oats, and I eat that a lot in the mornings. That's about 200 calories. Some mornings I do Ezekiel bread, which you can buy at Publix, and do a fried egg on top of that. That's probably about 180 calories.
You don't even know what a fried egg looks like, Mike.
He does.
My wife can cook any kind of egg. But anyway, I mean, you could do a Nature Valley peanut butter bar, and that's like 170 calories. Like I try to stay around 200 calories for breakfast, around 600 calories for lunch, and then probably around 600 calories at night.
Gosh,
Mike. I snack.
I would be starving on that diet.
If I had a light beer, Bud Light is 100 calories.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what you want to. It's all about accountability. But I mean, throughout the day, you can have snacks. I do a lot of sugar-free Jell-O, sugar-free whipped cream. I do a few pecans every once in a while. Even though pecans are a lot of calories. There's other things to eat. You'd be surprised how many great dishes you can do with cauliflower. My wife and I do a lot of cauliflower dishes, and we do a lot of brown rice, stuff like that. I mean, there's ways around everything. Then, hot sauce is a huge part of this diet. I put a hot sauce in a lot of things, and hot sauce is no calories. 57 sauce is not a lot of calories. Worcester's not a lot of calories. Fruits, strawberries, bananas, about 100 calories. If you ate 2 bananas for breakfast over there, that'd be 200 calories. It's just one of those kind of things. Once you do it, you get used to it. Your body gets used to it. It's made a huge difference.
Boy, 50 pounds is pretty good.
Well, how far do you got? Are you going to keep losing?
I will say this: I wear a 38 size pant now, and I can probably wear a 36 almost.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
So I get some of your old pants that you can't wear anymore. Is that right?
Here's what I've got to go. What got it started?
The great thing is I kept all my old clothes when I gained all this weight. Now I don't even have to go buy anything because I've got all my old stuff.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
Well, here's why I've got to go on the program. We're going to Disney World over spring break, and I'm just not in good enough shape to walk around all of Disney World and keep up with 5 and 10-year-olds. So I've got to go on. I've got to lose about 30 pounds, and then I've got to start exercising. And I should have started on the 2nd like everybody else, but I'm waiting until the kids start tomorrow. But I'm going to do. I could do that next time. I'll try this, but I know that if I do the low carb. I've done it about 5 times. The weight flies off of me if I stick to it. Now, I always gain it back. That's the bad thing. But if I need to lose 30 pounds in 2.5 months, I know I can do it.
Yeah. I'll have a real test this weekend because we got to go to a wedding in New Orleans. And New Orleans is one of my favorite places to eat by far, and maybe have a few cocktails.
Well, let me just say this.
I'll see how I do after this weekend when I get back.
The Lawyer Calhoun rates restaurants in San Francisco and in New Orleans. He says the Lawyer Calhoun, and he's a connoisseur of great food, says eat in New Orleans. The best places in the world to eat in New Orleans.
Well, he is a Renaissance man and a world traveler like you are. But also
Vegas is real high up there too. Yeah. About 20 world-class restaurants.
But San Francisco, of course, is big too.
My brother Rush is like that. He's done a lot of traveling, and he's a food snob, and he says the same thing, that New Orleans is the top.
Well, I brought this up this morning, ladies and gentlemen, about this diet. Is that we it's not all that hard once you get to know the system, and once you get to know the system, it's pretty much.
You know what I say about diet?
Easy to do, is that right?
You can have a lot of roasted potatoes. Potatoes are not a lot of calories. Of course, your green beans, your broccoli, all those are not a lot of calories. Anything grilled you eat is not a lot of calories. And the biggest thing down here, Dad, you saw it. I mean, I was eating right across from you the other day. I ate 12 fried shrimp. Fried shrimp are extremely low calories.
Are you serious?
They're fried, they're more, but shrimp is not a lot of calories at all, especially getting grilled.
Yeah.
I had grilled shrimp yesterday, but living down here where you have fresh seafood, seafood's great on this side.
Here's what I say about diets. It doesn't matter what diet you do. As long as you, like you say, buy in and believe in it and work the program, they all work. I mean, if you just, but it takes you about 2 or 3 weeks to change your habits and get into the habit of doing this.
You know, Forrest, you
and
hadn't
then
said a
in
word.
2 weeks you'll see results, which do what? That motivates you to stay on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about it for me is just the energy level. It's just so much. You know, I'm through the roof on energy now, so that's what's been great for me.
Well, you know, I promised I'll take these boys to eat some breakfast this morning if they'll go. I'll take them out there and eat eggs over light. But now you said something about shrimp.
You could have about 3 slices of bacon. 3 slices of bacon is about 190 calories.
Yeah. But now, is that all you get for breakfast? Is just 3 slices of bacon?
Well, I mean, I try to stay around 200 calories. Is what I try to stay around. But I mean, it's up to you. You know, if you know, I'm more of a lunch guy. You know, I've always been a big lunch guy. I've got to eat like right at 11 o'clock.
Oh gosh.
But you know, you got to stay away from dressing too. That's really bad. You know, I'm a huge homemade Thousand Island guy. Ranch.
I like French dressing. I love French.
That's something you got to stay away from too. Is a lot of the dressings, and then sweets, of course. You know, you got to try to stay away from sweets. But I mean, I have to admit, man, sugar-free Jello with some light Cool Whip, man. You can't beat that.
You know, Cool Whip is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But now you back to shrimp. You know, Sisters has the best shrimp in town, right? You can go and get a dozen fried shrimp for $11 at Sisters. I mean, excellent. You know, you get with fries and a salad. Really, really good.
Yeah, I try to stay away from fries.
All right, so if you would just work. I don't even know if they sell, you know, steamed shrimp or not.
I would get like another side.
Yeah.
You know, roasted potatoes. You can have a lot of potatoes.
Why do you? I didn't know. I didn't realize that about potatoes. You said it doesn't have many calories.
If they're roasted, or baked potatoes have a lot of calories. Just all what you put on it.
Yeah.
Well, but the butter would have a lot of calories, right?
I don't do butter. I do like light sour cream, and then I'll do you know, some other stuff to make it a little bit more tasty.
Yeah.
Well, when I go on Atkins, which is low carb, man, that's one thing I really miss is potatoes. You can't have you can't have potatoes. Now you can have all the eggs and sausage and bacon you want.
My daughter is probably as good a Atkins
person.
Yeah, she's been on it for years, and you ought to see her. Boy, she looks good.
Yeah, she buys into it and then sticks with it. I mean, it's just what I just said.
She's been on it for like 3 years.
But you know, the thing about it, she knows exactly what to eat, and she, you know, she has good meals. You know, through, you know.
I think Dr. Atkins, you know, he was dissed and attacked because he went against conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
He said it was carbohydrates, but he also said the diet has great benefits if you're fighting diabetes, which that runs in my family.
Mine too.
So that's another reason I want to do this is I want to get my diabetes under control.
And you want to watch your old buddy grow up too, don't you?
Yes. Thank you. A little Jackrabbit.
little Jack Rice.
Rice and I are older dads for sure, so that's the main reason I wanted to lose a lot of weight.
They're older dads. Now tell us real quick.
Rice is a lot older dad than me.
We're not letting.
When you want to go throw the old ball with your little 5-year-old son, you got to go back on the fitness program.
Watch this show and lose weight. Between Michael and Rice and.
I'm 45. How old are you, Rice?
55, 56.
62.
Jack is turning 6 tomorrow, by the way, or 2 days from now.
Big Jack.
My daughter.
Jack's nicknames, we call him Jack Rabbit, which is the South Dakota State nickname. And then Pickle Jack McCoy. He loves pickles, and I just like the sound of that. Yeah. So he's either Jack Rabbit or Pickle Jack McCoy.
Of course, our show, you can watch it again today at 1:30 on our dial.
LSU Kansas State tonight. They got football game tonight.
39 scholarship players for LSU.
I know, and I can't see. You know, wouldn't that be unreal if LSU beat them? I don't know if they can or not, but I'm gonna sure be pulling for them hard.
You know, back when Dad played, how many people would play in the game? 32.
That's right.
Like, they played both ways.
That's right. Yeah, no question about it. And you know,
the game will be at 7 o'clock on ESPN. It looks like.
So that ought to be a lot of fun to watch. Of course, Forrest.
Did you play both ways in high school?
Yeah, years ago.
I thought you was a defensive player, but you played offense.
Yeah. We I would alternate a lot on offense, but all the time on defense. But we played both ways. Played both ways.
Did you play both ways?
I did.
Fullback and linebacker.
Wouldn't you hate to have to try to stop him now?
Yes.
Because Forrest, of course, you don't start back to school until when?
Till Monday.
Till Monday, and Rice, did your guys start back?
My wife started back yesterday, and the kids start back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't go to breakfast this morning. I got to go back. The kids are by themselves.
All right.
Home alone.
Oh, hello. Wait a minute. Don't advertise that.
But Maggie's looking after Jack.
Alabama Georgia line is now 2.5. Georgia over under 52. I got to think that game's gonna go over.
Yeah,
Let me tell you what. Here's why I missed Forrest's great show last night. I was channel surfing, and the SEC Network showed the highlights of every Alabama game of the year and every Georgia game of the year.
Really? Huh.
You know, in about 15 minutes worth of highlights on each game.
Yeah.
So I watched both of them, and I tell you, Georgia is really, really impressive.
They're impressive.
They got players.
You know what's so impressive about them is their depth. They can just run. That's why Alabama's got to do something about that for us. As we talked yesterday, Alabama's going to have to run fast, run their plays fast.
And I still don't know how Alabama beat Auburn, and they barely beat LSU. It's just been a weird season.
They can run the football. They can beat Georgia.
How long was Alabama's streak of 30 or more points, Rice, until LSU broke it? Wasn't it almost like 30 games or something?
Oh, longer than that, I think.
Yeah.
You're right.
Alabama, only scored 27 against Cincy.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't have to score any more than that, but I feel like they're going to have to be. The winner of this game is going to at least be in the 30s.
Georgia has not, they got a tight end that I think is going to be, if he doesn't get hurt, NFL Hall of Famer. But they've got three of them that are all good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they've got three or four running backs that are all really good. Bennett is better than people think he is. Their receivers aren't bad, and then they're getting back Pickens, who's now healthy again. Their defense, we don't even need to talk about their defense. Everybody knows about
no question about it. It's going to be one of the greatest college football games ever played. Yes.
It's the right side of Alabama's line. Both those guys got hurt. Eckler, he may be back, shoulder injury, and the other, is it Owens?
Yeah,
that's right. They've got a lot of It's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs.
Yeah. I mean, what was? I mean, I'm never going to doubt Saban. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. But why does he just not hit a knee there? Why would they run the ball? I can understand that at the very end.
Yeah.
Well, he's done it his whole life. I scream at the TV, get these first team people out, but they don't listen to me.
That's right. Hope you enjoyed our show, and like I said, you can see us again at 1:30. And again, we're so glad you're there every morning for us. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in LA. See you then.
It's the Big Finish Pre-Owned Sales Event. 120 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. 2.5 million in inventory. Starting at $2,995. Down payments as low as $29. And payments starting at just $99 a month. Shop at PremierTroy.com or come see us. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
More Force, we've been through a lot this year, from saving Christmas to facing some of our most nefarious foes.
Like the leprechaun. Like the tax man.
Or the overpricer. And we defeated them all. So no matter what villain comes for our